Salut mes amis et bienvenue à la vidéo de jour. So, hello everybody and welcome to today's video. This video marks day 15, the midway point of my Mastering the Month challenge number 2, learning a new language. So this video will be very quick. It's basically just showing you guys how I'm going at the midway point of trying to master this challenge of learning French, and pretty much what I've been doing to get to the point where I am, how I am at this point, and then my plan of attack for the next 2 weeks to be able to master my challenge. So currently this challenge has been very fun. I feel as though I've enjoyed it more now that there's a bit of pressure on me now and just trying to get to a certain point within the 30 days. I know where I want to go with it, so trying to learn new pieces, and once you start to understand the patterns of the language, you get that little bit of excitement and you just want to keep going more and more and more. So my study material for this challenge and how I've been training, purely just using Duolingo at the moment, the free version, as well as the free podcast Coffee Break French. I forgot my French for Dummies book back in Sydney, but I'm thinking that I'm just going to go buy another one while I'm up here so that I can start to learn the other bits and pieces, because that gives you an entire book with all different categories where I can then now start to pick and choose from to be able to have my 30-day presentation. So it's been quite interesting already with Duolingo. I've noticed that there had been an update since the last time I used it a few years ago, and I've only done 10 lessons so far, and I already can feel myself getting more confident and being able to understand the language itself a lot more than what I thought I would. I was a bit worried when I had only got through a few categories, because in the app, if you've used it, there's now 5 levels to each category. So each one you level up in, you actually start learning a few more things. So because I was doing one category all the way to the 5, it was taking me quite a while to then learn a new category. So I kind of came up with a new game plan of doing little blocks of 5 categories at all one level, and then building all of them up 2, 3, 4, 5, just so I could start to expand my vocabulary a little bit quicker than just mastering the one category at a time. So I've only gone through 10 at the moment, which is the first chapter pretty much, but I've noticed with listening to the French podcast, I think I've gone through about 10 or so episodes of that, and even just that, with this Duolingo combo, I've been able to link them two together, because they're obviously different categories and talking about different things. It's actually made it easier to, when I go to a new thing in Duolingo, I know some of those words and how it plays from the podcast, and vice versa. I listen to the podcast and go, I already know that word. I know how to say it before they even teach it to me. So that's actually helped a lot, and I highly recommend using more than one source, because it's coming from all different angles, you learn it a lot quicker, and it just kind of broadens it a lot better. I don't really know how to explain it, but do it.
Do it. Do it.
So that's why I'm excited for getting this French for Dummies book as well, because then that'll just be all 3 things. If I do run through the book itself, I will know half the things probably in there from the podcast and Duolingo, and it'll all be able to just connect a lot better. So at the midway point, I'm happy with where I'm at the moment. I feel pretty confident. I'm thinking for this next week, I'm going to continue running through the podcast, running through Duolingo, get the French for Dummies book, and now start to actually try to write down my presentation in English. So I am going to talk about language, the brain, and how memory and everything is associated with learning a new language, and just how exciting it is. So I'll write that up in English first, and then just start chipping away once I learn the new words or try to pick sentences. Once I start to understand it, I will then start to translate it in French, and then when day 30 comes along, when I have my translation, I will send it to my French mate, which then can correct me, and I'll put that up, show you how close I got to being able to write French and the written language, and then I will present that to you guys, and see how my spoken French goes. So my current training regime with time and effort, again with the cards, I am out most of the day working, so I only get probably about half an hour after work where I will sit down and do my French. So it really doesn't take that much at all. Throughout the working day, or when I'm driving home, driving to and from work, I will listen to the podcast just so I can get at least something in there. So it's just bits and pieces whenever I can. Whenever I got 5 minutes before bed, I'll do a bit of Duolingo, then read, then go to sleep. And again, like my challenge 1 with memorizing the deck of cards, practicing this before you sleep boosts that memory, okay? It will help you guys to memorize it in your sleep. It will make it so much easier, and you might as well use it. It's instilled in us, in our brains. Use it to your advantage. So obviously practice it whenever you can, but also do a little session before you go to sleep. So then while you're asleep, you can memorize it all. All right, so that's pretty much it, guys. I'm very excited. I'm happy with the progress. Obviously, probably next week I'll see where I go and if I get a little bit nervous of not being able to translate this into words, but we'll just see how we go, and I'll see you guys in 15 days for the presentation. Catch you on the next time.